Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Entrepreneurship webinar series brought to you by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And as you would know, the Georgetown Chamber has been in existence for over a century, serving the business community of Guyana. And these webinar series are really geared at ensuring that we provide you with business education, opportunities as well for you to learn more, and the education is brought to you by members of the Georgetown Chamber itself. Now, we will be joined today by three very distinguished members of the Georgetown Chamber, Ms. Christine Gooding, Ms. Gary Thompson, and Dr. Rosh Khan, who will each in turn bring their own piece of knowledge. And today we are talking about marketing to you, our viewing public. If you're just now seeing us on social media, I would encourage you to share the video, make sure that as many persons as possible are able to view this webinar that will give tips, tricks, strategies, and a lot more on marketing. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is the Georgetown Chamber so interested in marketing? To give you a little bit of an understanding around that, any one of us could have a fantastic product or service, really high class, good quality, but our job is to make sure that people know that we exist, and that is a function of marketing. Only when persons understand that we exist, that's when they'll be able to access our product and service, and that's when they themselves can start marketing for your business. Now, my first presenter this evening is Ms. Christine Gooding. She is the owner of Market Square and the marketing manager of Surrey Trading. And just to tell you a little bit more about Market Square, it's an integrated marketing agency that provides a depth of services from research and analysis to planning and strategy, campaign and event management, everything marketing related. So very happy to have you on the call here this afternoon. Christine, welcome. And I'll be in the background providing the support that you may need. So take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for taking time out to join us this afternoon. And we are happy to be able to impart a couple of marketing tips for the holidays. Now, we know we are rolling into the holiday season very strongly. Today's the 1st of December. So I thought to myself, this would be the perfect opportunity to share some small business holiday marketing tips that won't kill your budget. Because we all know as small businesses, this is a critical money-making season. And if your marketing is not doing what it should be doing, then you can miss out on making a whole lot of money in this season, at this point in time. And we would really want you to benefit and make the best opportunities that you can during this season. So I really hope that you have your pen and your paper out and you're taking notes, because trust me, these tips will definitely help you throughout this season. So we know that, as I said, the holiday season is a critical money-making time for many independent businesses. And if your small business marketing strategies are strong, they can go a long way. What's more, it's a prime opportunity to grow your current space, but also to turn one-time customers into future long-time customers, and that will be ideal. Now, a lot of people during the season are always looking for new places that they can make purchases from. They perhaps don't want to go back to the stores they regularly frequent, because the idea is to find something new and something unique for that family member or friend. And it can be a tough time to stand out from tons of other businesses pushing holiday products and services, especially if your end of year marketing budget is dwindling, which sometimes happens at this point in the year. Fortunately, you don't need a big budget. With these small and effective tips that I'm going to share this afternoon, it will be sure to boost your business this season. Now, let's start with when should you start marketing during the holidays? Now, it would be best if we started with this in the beginning of November. Traditionally, that's when you start with rolling out all of your marketing plans, and then you get past the Thanksgiving period, because we know after then it's Black Friday, which has become very, very huge period for sales. Then we have Cyber Monday, and that's also two major shopping days for the Christmas season. So you really want to get started in November. But I want to assure you that it's not too late to start. Even if you've started and it's not been as um, really head on and forceful as you wanted it to be, you can still pick up steam now. There's still much more time. So before you want to start putting your marketing strategies to work, let's look at when you it's really a good rule of thumb is to start implementing your holiday marketing at the end of October or early November so you can get the shoppers into your store or on your website. I know it might seem like, why do we need to start out early? But when you're competing with so many other businesses, it's better to get your foot into the door first. Like, strike while the iron is hot. Do not hesitate. Don't ever think it's too early to get going. Trust me on this. It'll really pay off. You need to plan your small business holiday marketing ahead of time. You'll want some time to come up with a plan for your holiday marketing strategy. The holiday marketing tips will be useful, but you'll need to get them started so that you need more time to plan because you have a lot of legwork in some of these tips that I'm going to share with you. So ideally, you plan for months before the initial holiday periods. I know for a lot of people and a lot of businesses, they tend to start their Christmas planning, their holiday planning, sometimes even from August. Sometimes some of them start from maybe around June, July, because in some instances, there's so much that they want to do. They really need to take time to flesh out the plans that they have for the holiday season. So it will take some planning if you want to get it really well and get it right. But again, I want to emphasize that it's not too late with the tips I'm going to share today. A lot of these things can be implemented from tomorrow. So I will get into number one. Let's not waste any time. So Vishnu, I'm ready. So I know some of you might be thinking Black Friday, Cyber Monday, it's already passed. But the good thing about this is that you can extend your sales past Black Friday and past Cyber Monday. So this is not a one thing fits all. If you want to prolong a sale for another week or 2 weeks after those 2 days are observed, you can definitely do it. And I highly recommend that you do it. You can decide on the discounts and promotions. You can, and like I said, consider extending the sale past these two major shopping days and make these sales available in store and online if applicable. So if you don't have a physical store and you're just operating online, then you make sure that you have it available on both sides. And if you are operating in a physical location and online, then make sure you have all of this advertised in both places. So all of our competitors, as we know, will be taking part in these Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales in order to keep up, you'll have to do so as well. To do this, decide what discounts and promotions you want to offer during these two massive shopping days, and like I mentioned, after the fact. Maybe consider extending the sales throughout the entire weekend following with some extra sale. Make these sales available online and in stores so your customers can do what's best for their schedules. So I noticed that a lot of times we are doing a bunch of our shopping on Instagram. I've noticed that's become a trend where people will follow small businesses, and while they're browsing, they'll notice that there's an item that they want, and they can inbox that business, reserve the item, or sometimes they call ahead and make a reservation and then they go pick up, or if delivery is offered, that's also a plus. So do not be afraid. Advertise, advertise, advertise. Keep pushing your products and services, and make sure that it's something that works for your customers and it fits into scheduling that they can also work with so that they can actually participate with your sales. And now we are on to tip two, adjust your social media for the holidays. So strategic social media use is one of the most effective. Instagram in particular ranks number one for this. And you need to kick up your post frequency, and you have to let your post focus on discounts, deals, and new products, because this is a time where everybody's looking to find something new. Everybody wants a good deal, and also everyone is looking for discounts. So these are the three main things. But like I mentioned just now, with Instagram being ranked number one, we know that a lot of sales is being driven on this platform in particular. And I also want to add that TikTok seems to be catching on really, really quickly. So you can do really cute behind the scenes videos. You can do product focused videos and things like that. Share that and get it out there, and you will be well on your way. So, as I said, this is the season to kick up your posting frequency and get creative with what you share. This is a great opportunity to schedule out posts about discounts, deals, and new products. You should also aim to share lifestyle content that gives people a peek into your brand's culture and shows customers the different ways to use gifts and wrap your products. Another suggestion is holding contests with nominal gifts as prizes. You can launch an initiative where the best video submission to Instagram on a particular subject will win a prize. Hosting a TikTok chat or posting a poll on Facebook or Instagram are also easy ways to drive engagement. Another option is to do a live video explaining or experimenting with a product. For example, if you sell natural dietary supplements, you could do a live cooking show incorporating your products. Want a company that manufactures hair tools? Do a hair tutorial video. The key is to get your business in front of the people who are privy to it the most in their preferred portal. In addition, hyping up your content and business. Remember to update your accounts for the holidays. Just like you would decorate a brick and mortar location, jazz up your social accounts with some virtual holiday decor. Let's move on to tip 3. Partner with other businesses. So 3 of the main points we highlighted here was offer cross-business discounts, distribute coupons for certain products, perhaps items you would like to push, partner with a company that offers complementary products or services to yours. Now let's go in depth in this. So you would want to team up with another business to offer cross-business discounts, distribute coupons for certain products, or give promotional gifts with purchases above a specific threshold. A collaboration is a great way to amplify your business presence and incentivize people to buy. If you run a brick and mortar store, make sure you choose a neighboring business to increase foot traffic and make it easier for customers to visit both shops. If you run an online business, don't stress. You can still benefit from a business collaboration. Try partnering with a company that offers complementary products or services to yours. If you sell stationery, for example, partner with a company that makes chic desk file holders and organizing trays. So you really have to be creative. You have to think outside of the box. And I always push for collaborations because we really, really can gain so much when we work together and work with each other versus seeing it as competition or the other guy. Once you can work your network, identify the businesses, like we said, that are doing complementary products or services to yours, it's good to reach out. It's good to find ways where you both can benefit from partnering, especially during the Christmas season. For example, if you know a small business that offers gift wrapping, then you can partner with that business and you can let your customers offer them free gift wrapping by partnering with that business, and it's everybody wins. Now we're going to go on to tip 4. Publish helpful holiday content. And I wanted to jazz this slide up because it's the season. So you want to publish informative videos to platforms such as TikTok, publish to your blog or digital newsletter. If your company publishes a blog or digital newsletter, the holidays are a perfect time to create content that caters to your customers' holiday needs. Consider what valuable information you can offer customers this time of the year. If you sell cookware, for example, you could create a guide to hosting your own holiday brunch, complete with recipes, a grocery list, and tips for preparation. Whatever you do, make sure to include relevant SEO keywords to improve your ranking for organic searches. Providing comprehensive quality content for free accomplishes 2 main things. It helps attract new customers, and it builds credibility with returning customers. So this is a good time to take advantage of changing up your content. For those who do blogs and would send out their digital newsletters, this is a good time to cater to the holiday season and make sure that the content you're sending out is geared to your customers during the season, and it really gives them information on how they can use your products and services more. Number 5, take advantage of ad retargeting. Retargeting ads should be visual, relevant, and clickable. Don't forget to add a strong call to action at the end, like offer ends soon or get yours today. Now we're going to get into this a bit more. I hope everyone is taking notes, and I hope I'm not going too fast. You don't have to stretch your advertising budget to see results. Just get more resourceful with the methods you already have. It's no secret that it takes an average of 7 brand interactions for a customer to be comfortable with buying your product. It's recommended to try Facebook ad retargeting, which costs pennies on the dollar compared to the cost of the first impression or click. The first step is to identify potential customers. These are the people who visited your business website but haven't made a purchase. You can target these potential customers by visiting your Facebook ad account and using filters to create a custom audience, such as the site visitors for the last 7 days, excluding anyone who made a site purchase in the past 30 days. It's also a good idea to add Facebook pixels to your website so you can see what types of actions potential customers take when browsing. You can then create targeted ads to incentivize them to buy. When someone visits a product page multiple times, it signifies that they have a strong interest for that item. And seeing it one more time when they're scrolling through Facebook yields fantastic ROI. So you really don't want to give up on what you would have been using previously. You want to tap into your Facebook ad insights and use that information to your advantage, and definitely push that as much as you can. But remembering that retargeting ads should be visual, relevant, and clickable. Don't forget to add a strong call to action. I know you can add your WhatsApp buttons and things like that, so the customers can contact you immediately. So all of those are really cool things to consider when you are doing your ad retargeting. Tip 6, start a targeted email campaign. So an email campaign is a fantastic way to connect with customers. To get the most out of your messages, make sure every email is compelling, digestible, and clickable. You can send reminders about sales, offer discount codes, share announcements about extended holiday hours, or let customers know about exclusive product drops, and provide information for pre-ordering. Take the opportunity to wish customers a happy holiday and thank them for their continued business and support. So these are 4 things that you can do through targeted email campaigning. And I know they're also very effective, especially with letting customers know that a new product is about to drop, or you have a limited time offer, or you have another special. Number 7, and this has been something that I've been noticing happening a lot, and I'm all here for it, and it's collaborate with local influencers. So it's consider a trade collaboration with people who have large platforms. Give products to bloggers or social media influencers in exchange for gift guide features or posts. The reason why I like this is because the day and age that we are moving in, it is important to get our products and services out to people in these non-traditional ways. And local influencers definitely seem to have impact on how people shop, what they shop, where they shop, and it's something that's becoming much more prevalent, and we cannot knock it. It's definitely here to stay. Shoppers are actively looking for gift ideas during the holiday season, and many of them turn to others for recommendations. To get your business in front of more customers, consider a trade collaboration with people who have large platforms. The idea is to give products to bloggers or social media influencers in exchange for gift guide or features or posts. This doesn't just generate more traffic, for your products, but also helps improve company name recognition and establish more brand credibility and trust. That doesn't mean you should send out your products to anyone who has a large audience, though. You need to connect with people whose brand and values align with yours. For example, you can collaborate with an Instagram influencer whose focus is on clean beauty and loves the vision of your brand, if your product happens to be clean beauty. Partner with a charity. So we know people like supporting businesses that share their values. And one of the other great things I really like is a 1-for-1 donation for specific items, or donate a percentage of each purchase to an organization. So you can identify an organization you want to work with. You can let your customers know that for every purchase, you'll be giving back a set amount to that organization. And I think that's also a really good way to get more support and more traffic into your small business during this holiday season. Now we're going on to number 9. Develop a specialty holiday product. So you can create a special holiday only product. So this product can only be purchased during the holiday season. And you can also create a product that isn't overly tied to the holidays, but is only available during this time period. So it doesn't have to say Christmas all over it, but it's something that's only limited and only offered during the period. I think this is another great way to get persons to want to be excited about purchasing your items for a gift, especially if it's a special holiday only product and they know that's the last time they're going to get it. It's limited. It's not going to come back. That's something to also consider, especially for companies that offer natural care products like soaps and body scrubs and anything to do with even clothing, apparel, and things like that. This will be a really great idea. Now, number 10, this should go without saying, decorate your business. Customers love holiday shopping in an atmosphere that brings the joy of the holidays. Even if you don't have a brick and mortar location, you can decorate your website and your social media channels. So you really have to make sure that you're staying in tune with the season, and your content that you're sharing is very festive, because people truly really love that. When you're doing your photo shoots, your props should be Christmas trees and anything festive that really just sets the tone for the holidays. 11, host a holiday event. Hosting a fun, memorable evening for the community can help draw in customers and generate sales. Extended store hours, a cozy ambience, and free snacks and beverages go a long way. Make sure your event has a theme or style that represents your company. Partnering with a popular brick and mortar business to host a trunk show or a pop-up shop. So if you're a store that operates online, this is a good opportunity for you to collaborate with another store so that you can be able to do a pop-up shop, maybe 1 or 2 for your marketing period, or if you want to just do host a trunk show where you just get a little booth and you put some things in. That's also some ideas that you might want to consider looking into for the season. Pop-up shops are such good ideas. You can get as creative as you like with those, and they really do bring a crowd. So number 12, create unique holiday value props. It's critical to explain to customers why your product is relevant this holiday season. Think about what makes your product more sellable during the holidays. Whatever your business edge, whatever is your business edge, let customers know. So you really have to do some work on this. You want to think about what is the pull factor, what would make someone want to come into your store to pick up an item, why is it they should choose your store. So think about those things, and when you're designing your content, you definitely would want to make sure that those are some points that you focus on sticking out. So yeah, I think basically that's it. Think about what makes your item sellable and pushing that information as much as you can. I'm looking at the time, so we're going to go into tip 13 really quickly. Participate in holiday markets. The foot traffic at holiday markets are far more than most businesses will get at their brick and mortar store. So use those to your advantages. So keep your eyes and your ears out for any pop-up shops that are happening, any type of markets that are going on, whatever, booths. Organizations set up a lot of, like, these days you can come in, you can set up a booth and you can shop. Keep your eyes and your ears peeled for those, because these are like really, really good opportunities for shopping. These markets can be a great way to get exposure and to make some sales. And be sure to have an inviting holiday decorated booth. Again, it's important that people really feel the season and they're excited to come and visit your booth and interact with whoever you have there. And this is always a good one. I think this one does really well. Host a Santa Claus Picture Day. So I think everybody knows how this goes. So you offer holiday promotions and sales at your business, and you also incorporate at the same time a picture day with Santa. So what you're doing is you're making sure the environment is there that parents can come in with their kids, their little ones, and also be able to take advantage of whatever sales and promotions you have on that same day. So ensure that it's something that complements each other, so that at the end of it, everybody leaves happy. So we go to offer special holiday services like gift wrapping. So shopping during the holiday season can be stressful to customers. Everybody wants to be able to be in and out. Everybody wants that little extra convenience. And we know that gift wrapping is one of those things people really love and appreciate. Think about having to wrap tons and tons of gifts, especially if it's not a skill set that you're pretty good at. A lot of people really look forward to companies or businesses offering gift wrapping, even if it's for just a little additional cost to whatever the item is. A lot of people really gear towards that. So I would say, if this is something that you can assign to a particular staff for the holiday period, and you get your wrapping paper and your bows and your tape and everything together and have a little station there. And something else to consider would be if the customers can return and pick up their gifts depending on the amount, or if it's a way you can have it delivered to them. All of those are really good things to look into, and it goes a long way for the customer at the end of it. So the bottom line, ramping up your holiday marketing efforts without draining your funds might be an intimidating feat. But all you need is the right approach. Focus on low cost, high impact strategies that engage customers and increase conversions. If you plan in advance and use these holiday marketing tips, you should be able to get the word out to your customers that you're ready for the holidays and the sales and discounts have arrived. Remember to space out when you put these holiday marketing tips into play and keep your marketing efforts going strong all season long. So, of the 15 that I shared, you use the ones that you think will work best for you for the next 3 weeks. Implement them as best as you can. You don't have to use all of them, but if you want to and you can and you have time, then I say go for it. um, Go out really strong, keep it strong, and don't let up. The holiday seasons are one that we all look forward to. I am crazy about Christmas. I think a lot of people are crazy about Christmas. So I hope that these tips were helpful and informative. And I also sent these notes to the chamber. So if anybody at the end of the live would like to have a copy of it, it is available so that you can have it there to go through everything I didn't get to read through and hopefully implement it into your existing marketing plans.
Thank you very much, Christine, for sharing all those tips with us as well. And the information will be with the chamber for anyone who wants to also peruse that. I know that you'll be in the studio in the background waiting for the Q&A segment. So I look forward to seeing you again shortly. Thank you.
Yes. Welcome.
Now we are going to be joined by Mr. Gary Thompson. Before we get to Mr. Gary Thompson, though, I would like to encourage you to pick up your copy of the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory. As you would know, this is a place where you can find quite a lot of businesses in Guyana, and a lot of business information about 14 different sectors. So you are able to get your copy at the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, at the Action Coach Office, Center for Local Business Development, Go Invest. So everywhere where businesses are supported, it's where you'll be able to pick up a copy of the Who's Who in Guyana Business Directory. So I'm hoping that, Gary is on standby. So if I can ask Gary to join me now. Yes. Welcome, Gary. Good afternoon. And
Hi,
Just to give
Vishnu.
you a quick overview about Gary, he is the chairman of Global Capital Inc., the author of 10x Branding and Marketing, and also the author of Business Success Ecosystems. So, Gary, it's a pleasure having you here this afternoon. I know that you have about 10 to 15 minutes to share with us. So, I'll encourage you to ensure that you give us the best marketing guidance that we can possibly get from you today. So, all over to you, Gary.
Thank you, my friend. Um, Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this unique program that is being presented by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. Today, I will be talking about market research. The big question is asked, why market research? In the absence of market research and market intelligence, it simply means that you don't have eyes and ears to do business in an informed manner. And as we go through today's exercise, why market research, I trust that you can get a better understanding as it relates to the importance of doing market research. Can we change to the next slide, Vishnu? Great. In today's exercise, we will be examining 5 important elements of market research. One, we will be looking at market research and financial projection. We'll be looking at market research and the target market. We will be looking at market research and brand visibility. Last but not least, we will be looking at market research and the market enablers. I want to show you in the absence of doing market research, you don't have this intelligence. So we come to the next slide and we will be looking now at market research and financial projection. Now, in most cases in starting a business, you want to be certain that the business is going to cash flow. And the only way you could predetermine the potential of the business to cash flow is if you have market intelligence. But guess what? There are two main types of market research. There is one that is called the primary market research, and there is secondary market research. But I must also say there's also what I call speculative data, and I will explain what I mean by this. The average person setting up a business today, they tend to shy away from primary market research. Why? Because primary market research forces you to get the boots and the legs on the ground. All right? It forces you to get the rubber to the road, meaning that you have to get into that mud and you have to get down to the ground, interface with your target market and get all the facts together. But that is not all. Primary market research is capital intensive, meaning that it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to gather the market intelligence, dissect the market intelligence, and then leverage that intelligence to make informed business decisions. I want to say this, regardless of how high market research is, the costs justify the end, because it is only by doing this you're going to have critical market intelligence. And I will explain that further as we go into this evening's program. There's also what is known as secondary market research. Now, secondary market research is where you use secondary published data. Like, for example, census return might do a census analysis that shows that there's X amount of male, X amount of female, X amount of youth that are in the population. But that secondary data might have that, or that secondary research might have been done 5, 10 years ago. So guess what? It is not accurate. And because it is not accurate, if you build a product or a service to target the specific target market, drawn from that data, you can be making a big mistake. You could be wasting a lot of monies in this regard. Let's take, for example, researchers might show that you have 500,000 persons who are your consumers. But guess what? Over the last 5, 10 to 15 years, you had perhaps 250,000 who migrated. But here you build a brand and you perceive that because of the size, based on your secondary data analysis, that the market is going to be viable. Now, the remaining 250,000 persons, they have been geographically dispersed because of socioeconomic factors. Let's just say that, for example. But because you do not have reliable, updated information, because you are assuming or saying that the cost of primary research is high, you may again invest hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars into a product line, only to recognize at the end of the day, the market is not there. But it can get worse than this. Okay, much worse than this. This is what we see happen a whole lot. Instead of doing primary market research, because it's capital intensive, instead of ensuring that secondary data is reliable, most person in developing that financial projection, they depend on what is known as speculative data. And what is speculative data? Speculative data simply means that you sit in your office or wherever that is, and you come up with an assumption that you want to get into this type of business because you see someone else is in that type of business and they're making money. And based on that speculation, you decide to get into a particular area of business without understanding who is your target market. And if you do not understand your target market, it simply means that you do not understand how to build a product, a service, or a brand to reach that specific target market. So you are highly speculative in this regard. So the last thing that you want to do in business is to rely on speculative data. You want to get some skin in the game and do the primary market research to ensure that you get in critical information. Now, how does market research helps you? Market research and the target market. We will now be discussing market research and target market. You need to commit time, talent, and resources to understand your target market. I cannot emphasize the importance of doing this enough. Knowing your target market allows you to understand several things about that target market. Now, for example, in identifying your target market, the financial influencing factor is to understand now the size of that market. The size. And here is where you might have 1 million persons in the market. And I'll give you an example. How is it so important to understand the numbers? If you're going to make a pitch to, you know, private equity investor, you need to know your numbers, not based on speculative data, not based on outdated secondary data, but based on primary market intelligence. Knowing your market size is important. But you might have 1 million persons available as your primary demographic, as your ideal customer base. But guess what? They are not condensed, they are geographically dispersed. And you might be positioning your brand where you have only 5% of the target market instead of 50 and 60% because you don't have the market intelligence to inform your business decision. Hence, again, the importance of having the intelligence so you understand not only the market size, but the market density and the market dispersion. In understanding your target market, you will also understand the lifestyle, culture, and social class of your target market. You will understand their needs, wants, and expectations, their dreams, hopes, and aspirations. And it is absolutely important to commit time, talent, and resources to understand this because you are not in business to satisfy your personal interests. You are in business to satisfy consumer needs, wants, and expectations, to add value and fix problems. If you really want to cash flow maximize, it makes absolute sense to commit that time, talent, and resources to get this right. A critical example of understanding market size and understanding your financials You have a market size of about 1 million. The consuming the consumer spending power, it's about $5,000 a month. Can you calculate how much money is being generated in that market on a monthly basis? Yes. 1 million multiplied by 5,000 is going to give you $5 billion. So this simply tells you that the market viability is $5 billion. So at any given time, you have $5 billion that the market is going to be generated on a monthly basis. But that is not all. You might have to do your SWOT analysis, and I'll leave that for another day. But I just want to emphasize the importance of doing the market research. So we now talk about market research and brand visibility. It's absolutely necessary to commit time at this to understand all of this. And again, market research influences this. You start a business, you start a brand, and you just decide to leverage mass media communication. You just decide to leverage social media communication without taking into consideration that each of these communication platforms has a particular tone, a particular voice, and the tone and voice must be relevant to the target market. Like, for example, you're targeting young people, let us say the age of 5 to 10, but you place your ads on the news, the hottest news that you can think about. In most cases, 90% of youths between 5 to 10, they have absolutely no interest in the news. So without taking the time to understand your target market in terms of what your target market is looking at, you may be investing hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars into mass media communication, into social media platforms, but you're not making impact. In doing any form of advertising and managing a business, there's several things that you want to accomplish. You want to grab attention, you want to pique interest, you want to arouse desire, you want to move the customer into action, you want to make impact, and you want to convert first-time users into lifetime customer. But beyond all of this, you want to build confidence, you want to build trust, and you want to move that brand where that brand can truly experience customer credibility. But you will not be able to achieve all of this if you do not understand how to play media management effectively. So this is absolutely necessary for you to take the time to understand media effectiveness. And in branding and marketing, we normally talk about the dashboard of advertising, define an advertising goal for measure advertising effectiveness. Before you place the ad, you want to know the impact that you want to create. You want to truly understand how to achieve that impact. And you must also take the time to understand your target market in this regard. So the last slide that we're going to be looking at now in is market research and the market enablers. Absolutely necessary. Can you imagine that you jump into business without understanding who are the accommodators and who are the enablers, the people that can literally help to fast track your business development? The speaker before me talked about social influencers. Well, understanding the market accommodators and understanding the market enablers is all about connecting with those social influencers. You have public sector support organization. In Guyana, we have the SBB, the Small Business Bureau, that is playing a tremendous role in helping businesses to get their feet on the ground. So that is one of the enablers. But we also have private sector enablers. This institution that is bringing this program to you right now is one of the enablers, which is the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce. They have designed this content of information to bring to you to help you to understand how to do business smarter, how to do business more effective, how to achieve more in your business practice. You have other agencies like the uh, Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association as some of the enablers that you can commit with. And all of these institutions have been playing a tremendous role in some way or the other to really help small business, micro, small, medium, and large size businesses to achieve their business strategic objective. Now, it's also important to understand what we call other enablers, like the BSO, local and international BSOs. You see, in doing a business, it is nice to scale at a local level. But as you start to expand and you start to grow, it is not enough to just connect with BSOs, business support organization, at a localized level. You might be in agro processing, but again, because of your market research, it is showing you that you do not have 200,000 persons to consume your product. You perhaps have less than 100,000 to consume your product because of the population size, market size, density, and dispersion. So with all of this information now, you can now shift your attention to do research in the Caribbean, identify new market niche, new market opportunities, to do research other parts of the world, and see how relevant your products, your services, and your brand has relevance to those markets. You see, the key in business is to cash flow maximize. And you want to cash flow maximize in the most informed way. And you can't do this unless you're doing market research. Remember, market research is your eyes and your ears and possibly the smell of doing business. Thanks a lot, Vishnu, and all to you.
Thank you very much, Gary. You're touching all the senses there with market research, and that's very important. I trust that you stay with us for the question and answer segment that's coming up just after we finish with Rosh's segment. So I'll see you soon.
Definitely.
Very good. And for those of you who are interested in educating yourself a bit more on digital marketing, I must tell you that there is a product that we currently have, which is the Herventure app. And Action Invest is promoting the Herventure app in Guyana. We're doing it in collaboration with the Cherry Blair Foundation, and it is funded by the ExxonMobil Foundation as well. And we currently have over 2,200 female entrepreneurs and women who want to start their own business as well, utilizing the app. There are 9 major learning tracks, of which digital marketing is a key one, and accessing new markets as well is a new one. Now, this is education in the palms of your hands, so please make sure that you download the app. If you were to take out your phone right now and just point it to the screen, unless you're looking at us on a phone, you'll be able to very quickly get the app downloaded. And I'll also look at getting it into the comments section for anyone who just wants to click on the download link. But the app has been fantastic with the 9 learning tracks. There are 85 modules as well. And at the end of actually having gone through all of the modules, you'll actually receive a certificate of completion and your very own Herventure coffee mug or tea mug, so that you can also have a reminder of the program and the lessons that you would have learned there. I am now joined by Dr. Rosh Khan, and he's the Director of Social Rank Media and the President of ACE Consultancy. He is a council member as well of the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. And today he will be taking us through his insights on marketing. So I encourage you to pay very keen attention. And Rosh, all over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Doerga. I really appreciate it. Thanks for doing such a great job hosting this webinar series. And I don't think you mentioned, the Herventure app. I think it's also complimentary, right? I think it's free of cost to download that and access the information.
Yeah, it took quite a lot of resources to pull it together, but to the users, it's of absolutely no cost. I know that when our company was looking at putting something together like this, it costs anywhere between 5 to 10 million to do it at this level. So please make full use of it. Thanks for reminding me of that, Rosh.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at the time. I know it's 6:51, and we've got some tips here that we're going to be talking about. Marketing tips for 2022 and beyond. So Dr. Doerga, if I'm going over my allotted time, please dive in, jump, and say, Rosh, we're out of time. That's totally okay, but I'll try to get through some of the material as quickly as possible. And to kick things off, I want to say this is a famous quote by Jean-Baptiste: the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so there are certain marketing fundamentals that we won't be touching tonight. What we're going to be talking about are tactical things. We're entering into a new year. And so there are going to be some new strategies, maybe some new platforms, maybe some new approaches, but marketing fundamentals stay the same. And so we won't be talking about, promotions and keywords and goals and objectives and SEO, the stuff you're seeing on the screen. We won't be doing that tonight. We won't be talking about, the 4 P's of marketing. And every time I talk about, the P's of marketing, it seems every year they add on another P. I think the last one I saw was the 9 P's of marketing. We won't be talking about, the funnel, AIDA, awareness, interest, desire, action. We won't be talking about any of those things. We're specifically going to be looking at what's different, what's changing. Okay, and we're going to run through 8 of those as quickly as we can. Now, because of the presentations, the great presentations that were done, they actually touched on a bit of this. So it's going to help me to accelerate my presentation tonight. And so tip number 1 is look behind to look ahead. We have this famous saying, begin with the end in mind. But sometimes to begin with the end in mind, we've got to look at our past performance. We have to look at our current reality. And so the big step that you've got to take when you're thinking about your 2022 marketing strategies to really just take a step back, right? Take a step back and evaluate what has worked and what hasn't worked. You really can't move forward unless you're very honest with your assessment of your performance over the year. And I think a lot of what Gary talked about ties right into this, doing effective market research as well. So when you're evaluating for the year, ask yourself the basic questions. Are you happy with where your sales are at? Did you meet your goals? Did you have mid-year goals? Did you have annual goals? Did you have monthly goals? What about your customers? Do you have a good idea of who those customers are? Are they changing or where they are? Is their location changing? And did your creative campaigns deliver the return on investment that you had set out for the year? So take the time to look at that. If you're on Facebook, you want to study your Facebook insights. If you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, if you've got your website, maybe you've got Google Analytics in play, you want to take the time to really evaluate those numbers. Perform a marketing SWOT analysis. That's looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and the threats, right? Whether those threats are internal, whether they're external, really think through, are there any blind spots as we move into 2022 that we're not thinking about? All right. Tip number 2 is to be a goal getter. And what I mean by that is once you've taken the time to reflect on your 2021 marketing performance, now you want to start establishing some measurable goals for the next year. Okay, so be very clear on this. What do you want to achieve? Oftentimes when you ask entrepreneurs what you want to achieve in the next year, they're super ambitious, right? I've been there before. You want to do 10, 15, 20 different things. But the truth is you want to keep those goals as minimal as possible. So maybe a top 3 at the maximum, maybe top 5 marketing focused goals. Sit down and really think through what are those goals, and then what are the key performance indicators? What are your KPIs that are going to measure the success of you achieving those goals? And you'll see a very little notation here in brackets, lead versus lag. And that's really important, when we talk to entrepreneurs. It's very easy to get caught up looking at lead measures or lead indicators like your sales, right? It's already happened, right? When you're looking at your sales at the end of the month, there's nothing you can do about your past performance. And so what you want to do is you want to look at some lead indicators as well. You want to build in to your tracking, what are the things that are going to impact my sales at the end of the month? So if the amount of emails you send out has an impact on your sales, or the amount of times that you have a face-to-face with a client, or the amount of times you pick up the phone and talk to them, those things will determine ultimately what your sales will be at the end of the month. So make sure that those are some KPIs that you're tracking through the progress. So mid-month, whether you're ahead or behind, and you can course correct if necessary. So make sure your goals are specific and actionable. I think everyone's familiar with SMART goals, so I won't get into that, but I will give you a simpler version of that. And this is one that works whether your organization is a small one, a medium one, or an enterprise level organization. And it's really simplifying SMART goals. And the formula is right there on the screen, right? It's the verb. What is the thing that you want to do? So for example, you want to increase, right? What's the thing that you want to make progress on? That could be your sales. So you want to increase your sales. X refers to your current reality today. What are your numbers today? So you need to be tracking them. To Y is what is your aspirational goal? What do you want to achieve? And then by when? Like, what's the deadline? So you want to increase your sales from $1 million to $2 million by the end of the first quarter 2022. So make sure it's really simple. You understand what your goals are. It's also easy to share that with your team as well. Tip number 3, Target isn't just a store. And what I mean by this is, you've really got to do some market research, as Gary talked about, to find out if your historical target audience, the people that you've been targeting over the past year or years, your audience that buys from you, are they the same people that you should be targeting moving forward? And it might be worth sending out surveys, setting up some focus groups, because if you're thinking about extending your product line, if you're thinking about increasing or reducing your price, if you're thinking about, launching new campaigns or exploring new channels, you're going to need information. So find out, has your market shifted? Is your audience now, are they older or are they younger? Are they in a different geographic region? Are there movements locally that are happening that you should consider? Are they responding to content that is paid? So you're using sponsored ads, or are they responding to content that's organic, just posting things on social media, or using traditional channels of marketing as well? That's going to help you figure out your budget and how you allocate your funds. And look, in some places in the world, you're seeing the world open back up, and maybe I need to revise that statement, because with the new variant of COVID, you're seeing some lockdowns as well. And so if the world continues to open up, you want to think about cycles. So a lot of people focus their attention on digital channels. Maybe you want to start focusing your attention on traditional print advertising. You'll see on there IRL, in real life events as well. Okay. Talk to your customers via social media, use Instagram polls, send out your tweets, use the comment sections. When people come into your store, ask them about the experience, ask them about, where they heard from you. It's going to give you information that is going to help you figure out how you're going to set your strategy for 2022. Tip number 4 is less is more for videos. And Christina alluded to this earlier. Short form videos have really taken over, and we have to thank TikTok for that, right? And when I say short form videos, I'm referring to videos that are 60 seconds or less. And you're seeing Facebook stories increase in popularity. You're seeing Instagram Reels increase in popularity, YouTube Shorts. What some people actually do is they'll put stuff on TikTok, they'll download that content, and they'll re-upload that same content on all the other platforms as well. So in your industry, think about, short form videos that are performing well. Look around, see who's doing it right, see how you can embrace that trend. And there's some great software to help you do that. This is some free software: Lightworks, VideoPad, Blender, OpenShot. There's a couple of others as well, but these are great for you to at least get started. Right? And why is short form video taking over? Well, according to Time Magazine a couple of years ago, the average human attention span has dropped. It's dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. And for those who may not know, the attention span of a goldfish is 9 seconds. So we've dropped to having an attention span even less than a goldfish. Okay. And what that means is, in some instances, we've got even less than those 8 seconds to make an impression and really get the information across to individuals in an interesting way. And that's why, we embrace the idea of edutainment, right? How can we educate and entertain at the same time? That's something you should be embracing for 2022. And when you have that attention from your target market, you want to think about how can you collect information from your audience? And that's going to segue into tip number 5, which is to own your audiences. So what do I mean by that? How do you own your audiences? The truth is, When we're using Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all the others, social media networks out there, they own the audience. Those users are not your users. Those users are users of those platforms. So if Facebook decides to shut down one day, or YouTube decides to charge one day, or Instagram gets bought over by, I don't know, these are all hypotheticals, but what would happen to your access to those individuals? So you want to think about owning your audience by collecting information, collecting their names, their phone numbers, their email addresses, so that you can ensure you get your message across to them via email marketing or direct marketing. You also want to do that because although you may have been able to reach your audience and you got hundreds of likes, a couple of months ago, it doesn't mean that you're going to get hundreds of likes moving forward. The algorithms are constantly changing. So the more control you have over that process, the better. And ads on Facebook and Google are also increasing. They use a bid formula. So the more businesses that are on there that are bidding for that real estate, that digital real estate, the more it's going to ramp up the cost for those ads. All right. Tip number 6 is that content is no longer king. For those in the digital marketing space, you always heard that. That was almost an adage in the industry. Content is king. Content is king. That's not necessarily the case. Everyone talked about content being king, but the truth is there's so much content on the internet now that we're overrun with all this content. What's really king now is simplicity, it's clarity, it's being able to give individuals, potential consumers, prospects, high quality content, unique content. So my recommendation moving into 2022 is don't just post for the sake of posting. Post high quality content, unique content, stay away from mediocre content. And if you're like, well, Rosh, that's really hard to do on an everyday basis, well, think about actually reducing, throttling back the amount of content you put out there for the sake of posting, and focus on less frequent but higher quality content. So when people see that you post, they pay attention, they engage, and hopefully they convert. Number 7, I should probably put in brackets here sometimes, right? Toot your own horn sometimes. I'm not telling anybody to go out there and be braggadocious, but it is important for you to be proud about what you do and to be loud about all the great things that you're accomplishing. And you want to tell that in the form of a story, okay? So if you actually achieve great things, if your service increased productivity by 25%, talk about it, showcase it. If your product helped someone achieve a specific goal, showcase it. If your product helped another business improve, showcase it. Tell those stories without doing the hard sell. I saw this graphic and I pulled it in here, Ritopes. This is a great way of doing it, right? There's no hard sell here, but it's showcasing how proud they are that they were recognized and that they won this award. And it tells people, hey, if I haven't engaged with them, maybe I should try this out. It's how you establish trust. People buy from those they trust. And that's why we talk about KLT, right? For people to trust you, they got to like you. For people to like you or your product, they got to know you. So focus on that and tell that story. And lastly, tip number 8 is to simply think outside the box. There's a lot happening in the social media sphere, and you want to think about investing in online events. You want to think about embracing personalization. I mean, this happened just recently, and it was a pleasant surprise. I go back and forth from Guyana to New York, and most of the time I'm on American Airlines. But on this recent trip, I came back on JetBlue, and I sat down on my seat, and I'm looking at the screen in front of me, and it says, "Hi, Rosh." And I thought that was pretty cool, right? They personalized the experience with my name, which made me feel like I wanted to engage with what they had on the technology interface on that screen. Okay, so while you're embracing personalization and humanizing your business and humanizing your processes, you also want to think about how you can automate that process as well. If people opt into your emails from different sources, track where they're opting in from, track what they're opting in from, so you could automate what emails they get over what timeline. Leverage audio and multi-purpose content. Podcasts are here in a really big way. At the same time, you'd see lots of podcasts that would put that content on YouTube in video format. So think about how you can leverage all the content that you create. Put it on your turn it into a blog, put it on YouTube, put it on a podcast. And you also want to become socially responsible. We've seen a huge trend with brands embracing their corporate social responsibility, and we continue to see that. So I would ask entrepreneurs to figure out what's the cause that drives you, what's the cause that you can latch on to, and don't just do it for the sake of doing it. You've got to do it and be genuine and real about it too. And lastly, for those who've been paying attention, Facebook was recently renamed. It's now Meta, META, and their vision is a big one, right? That's really about the virtual world. It's about avatars. It's about characters. It's about virtual reality. It's about interfacing with each other in a different way. And while I think there's going to be some time before that becomes really mainstream, it is time to start thinking about how you can participate in that metaverse. For the Marvel fans, about the multiverse, but now we're going to start seeing the metaverse as it relates to Facebook. All right. And so with that, I'll close off with this quote. We don't have a choice on whether we do marketing. The question is, how well will we do it? Dr. Doerga, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rosh. And I will definitely be playing tic-tac-toe using the new rules that you have just presented to us. So let's bring on back Christine and Gary. I think we had quite a education on marketing this evening, starting from Christine with really focusing on the holiday season and the specific marketing tips that we can implement at this time. And then Gary touching on market research and how important it is to actually know the markets that we focus on. And then Rosh really redesigning the way that we play games in this country. And it's really important that we continue to also think about more unique ways of targeting our customers. And when I say targeting, it's really how do we make sure that the people who we serve become aware that we exist? Because if they don't know, we can't serve them. I'm looking at some of the questions here. So, what marketing platforms work best in Guyana? Christine, you started off first. I can give you that question, and then the others can join in.
Well, if your business is targeting the Gen Z, as they call themselves, that's for the younger people, you definitely want to focus in on TikTok. That's where they are. For the middle-aged, pretty sophisticated crowd, I would say Instagram is a good place to market your business, and for everyone. But mostly for the more mature crowd, definitely Facebook. The dynamics on what the type of content that's shared on those platforms has changed so much, and you will find that the kids go where it's more hipper, and then we have the grown-ups who just want to connect with their long lost uncle or aunt or somebody, and they're there on Facebook and they don't want to spend their time making videos or anything like that. They're there on Instagram. So you can't necessarily give up any one platform. You just have to go with a platform that caters to your client base, the services that you offer and things like that.
Christine, I did see when you said the older, and then you looked around, and then you said more sophisticated, and we felt a little bit better crowd. So, point taken, point taken. Very correct, very correct. Rosh, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think Christine nailed it. For the young and the young at heart. How about we use that one? You can capture both of them on Facebook, but the truth is, when you look at the metrics, the fastest growing population on Facebook are the middle-aged, right? So those folks are coming on stream, and the younger folks on there are going, uh-oh, auntie's here, mom's here, uncle's here. I need to hop off and I need to get onto Instagram and TikTok. So you're right. I also want to mention YouTube. Let's not forget YouTube for those that are doing videos. A lot of us consume content on YouTube. And so even if you don't use YouTube for organic content, it's a great platform to put those banners on there and to put what we call pre-roll or mid-roll ads on there where you can play for 5 seconds, play for 15 or 30 seconds. So you certainly want to think about that as well. If you're looking for B2B, you'd be surprised at the metrics for LinkedIn as well. So let's not forget about LinkedIn. It's a great place to do business, to connect with people, and also for recruitment if that's an important part of your business.
Very good advice. I'm going to ask Gary to chime in after I also add this other part because the next question is very important. Based on the research done so far in Guyana, how much time should a small entrepreneur invest in marketing daily or weekly? But, your favorite social media platform, and how much time does the research say a small business owner needs to invest in marketing daily?
That's to me, Vishnu.
Yes, Gary.
Well, that would depend on the type of business that we are talking about. Um, there are different types of businesses, depending on their business model, that will influence the cost of advertising. Like, for example, um, if I'm a small business, but then I'm looking to do agro processing, I need to gather critical market information, not only about the market, but about the product, ensure that the product is aligned to. It's a lot of work, so it depends on the the market itself, the kind of business that you're going into.
Very good. And your favorite marketing platform for a business like yours?
For a business like mine,
Yep.
the thing about it is that based on where I'm at in terms of using social media, locally we still have a very long way to go in allowing the entrepreneur to be more specific in terms of target market. And just let me share some of my experience with you. I have spent quite some time on uh, Facebook, some time on Instagram, um, a little time on TikTok. But I have also been interfacing with social media platforms outside of Guyana. And what I have been able to accomplish in less than a week, in 1 year, you will not accomplishing those things on the local platform. Uh, Perhaps I know Roche he understands the algorithm in terms of driving traffic to a particular platform. But what I'm seeing happening with international social media platforms, we still have somewhere to go. Once those platforms are created here, I'm absolutely certain it will create a tremendous opportunity for business to scale much faster.
Thank you.
And
And
at a later date, at a later date, I will identify some of those platforms.
very good.
Dr.
I'm putting
Doerga,
together some of these questions as well. And Rosh, I'm going to ask you to chime in on that one. But this is one that was related to the one I asked previously. In an evolving economy, like we now have in Guyana, we're expecting a growing middle class. Um, what do you believe will be key ways in which we can target this growing middle class in our country? So chime into Gary's question, but also, what do you believe about this evolving economy?
sure. Good questions. I tend to refrain from answering the question in terms of how much time you should spend on the platform, because I could spend an hour on the platform scrolling and not really achieving anything, and somebody could spend an hour on there being highly effective with their time. And so I would actually reverse engineer the process and say, okay, what are your objectives for social media, and then maybe do a time audit on how long it takes to do those things, right? So, how much of your time are you using to create content and to promote and push content out there? But also, how much time are you spending to build rapport, to comment on others, to check in with others, to answer questions, to participate in groups, and that sort of thing. So, it's a bit hard to give a one size fits all response to that. I would instead say, figure out your goals and objectives, and then work backwards to see how much time that takes. We tend to get carried away thinking, well, social media is free. Well, if we believe in time as money, then is it really free? Right? And so you've got to think about your resource of time that you're putting into social media as well. To answer your question, I think we're seeing we're seeing the resurgence. There's certainly been a resurrection in radio, for example.
No roles before I can see
I,
you,
I, I
young
see
lady.
I see where depending on the programs that are on TV, we see a resurgence in people tuning in for television programs as well. And so you really want to do that market research that Gary talked about. Try different platforms, and don't take my word or Gary's word for it. Try different platforms and let the statistics and the analytics and the insights guide you on what works. That would be my kind of one size fits all response.
Very good, very good. Those are some of the questions that came in that I would have
Vishnu,
kind of wrapped up.
Vishnu, I just want to quickly add one more thing to what Rosh would have said. One of the things that I have learned, particularly in terms of using the social media platform, is that very often you find when you put out a content on social media, the content is not standard, it's not fixed, it tends to change all the time. And that confuses the algorithm, because what I'm hearing now is that the algorithm, as you feed it information, it builds a relationship with your content. But if the content keeps changing, it confuses the algorithm. So as you change, it down-regulate your opportunity to attract persons to the platform. That's something that research is also showing.
Very good. Thank you, Gary. And I was actually just going to ask for some closing advice, because we're just over our time as well. And let's go in reverse order this time. Let's give Rosh the first word this time. Any closing tips?
Sure. Look, we're talking to entrepreneurs, small business owners, and so everything we're talking about with marketing, you want to make sure that you back everything up. All that stuff, that nice stuff that you're putting out there, you want to back it up with good systems, good service, good products. Because the truth is, and we say this often, money is the byproduct of the value that you create. So at the end of the day, it comes back to that. You want to see more commercial activity. Do a better job at providing value, which means that you need to do a better job at providing service, good products, and so forth.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Gary, final tips? You'd have to unmute, Gary.
Yeah. My final tip is that you're getting into business, commit time, talent, and resources to get the market intelligence, because again, the market intelligence is going to be your eyes, it's going to be your ear, is what's going to inform the business decision. The more information you have about understanding your market size, your market density, your market needs, wants, and expectation, dreams, hopes, and aspirations, and building out your brand to reach those, those needs, wants, and expectation is what's going to help you to be more successful in doing business.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Gary. And Christine, your final tips for this evening?
I would say have tunnel vision as it relates to your business, your goals, your objectives. Don't pay attention to what's going on next door or what's happening, who's the guy at the side of you. It's really important to stay focused and hone in and work really hard. And sometimes they say, don't work hard, work smart. But I truly believe in working hard and making sure that when we have webinars like these, you really tune in and take in all the information you can. And also feel free to reach out for any other information that you think you want to go over with me. I'm always available to talk to anyone. So please feel free to reach out. And happy holidays. And I hope that the tips that I shared with you can really, really push some sales. And obviously you have maybe some new ideas and what you can implement into your marketing strategies for the holidays.
Thank you very much, Christine. And thank you very much for all of you for taking the time out of your packed schedules to be here with our audience this evening. And to any entrepreneurs out there, any business people looking at getting more support, I would encourage you, check out the gcci.gy, check out the chamber office at Waterloo Street. Get your application filled up, dropped in. The chamber has just surpassed 500 members now, so it's been for a long time the largest private sector organization, and it continues to grow. There's a lot of power in that network. I'm very proud as a past president as well to see the growth that the organization is undergoing, and it is exactly what's needed to provide support to many, many other businesses so we can really get our country up and running, functioning in a very structured way where everyone can be able to benefit. So our guests, thank you very much for taking the time out this evening. And to those of you watching us, make sure that you share the video so as many people as possible can benefit from the knowledge shared this evening. Good
And
evening.
thank you, Dr. Dorga, for being such a gracious host. All right. Have
You're
a good
welcome,
night,
Rosh.
everybody.
Thank you.
Good
Take care.
job and good day, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.